There's a strange kind of magic in those first few seconds when you wake up, before your phone lights up with endless notifications, before your mind begins its usual chatter, rehearsing old worries or chasing new desires. There's a moment, a brief silent dawn, where your entire life pauses. It's a threshold, neither asleep nor fully awake, a place where the old you of yesterday quietly fades and a new version of you prepares to be born. Most of us never notice this moment. We rush past it. Eyes half open, we stumble toward a cup of coffee, scroll through emails, and unconsciously drag yesterday's burdens into today. But according to ancient Buddhist teachings, that moment, that fragile, flickering space between dreaming and waking, holds more power than we've ever been taught to realize. In the eyes of the Buddha, every dawn is not just a new day. It's a new life, a fresh karma waiting to be written. You see, Buddhism teaches that life isn't measured in years, months, or even days. It's measured in moments. Tiny, impermanent pulses of experience, each offering a chance to wake up, to shift the course of your destiny. And the very first moment you open your eyes each morning, it's the most fertile, sacred soil for planting the seeds of your mind. In that moment, your consciousness is like a calm, still lake. Whatever thought you drop into it, gratitude, anger, peace, fear, will ripple outwards and shape the entire landscape of your day. Think about it. Have you ever woken up and immediately checked your phone, only to find some bad news, a passive-aggressive message, or a crisis at work? Notice how your heart rate spikes, your mood darkens, and the entire day seems colored by that initial surge of stress. Now imagine instead, waking up to silence, to stillness, to a deliberate breath. A simple thought, I am alive, I am here, this is a new beginning. That subtle shift isn't small, it's everything. In Buddhist monasteries, monks have known this secret for centuries. They rise before dawn not just out of discipline, but to honor this threshold moment, to meet the birth of the new day with mindfulness, to greet their own rebirth with awareness before the demands of the world can cloud the mind. Why does it matter so much? Because, as the Buddha taught, with our thoughts we make the world. The quality of your mind in the first moments after waking becomes the lens through which you'll view every encounter, every challenge, every joy and sorrow that follows. If those first thoughts are hurried, anxious, resentful, your mind gets trapped in that frequency. But if those first moments are spacious, kind, awake, you step into the day carrying a deeper peace, one that subtly affects everything you touch. And here's what's beautiful. It doesn't take an hour of meditation or a lengthy ritual. It takes a breath, a thought, an intention. You don't have to become a monk to reclaim your mornings. You simply have to notice them. What if, starting tomorrow, you gave yourself just 60 seconds before reaching for your phone? 60 seconds to feel the warmth of your blanket, to notice the softness of the morning light, to thank your heart for beating through the night, to set a quiet intention for who you wish to be today. In those 60 seconds, you are neither bound by yesterday's regrets nor burdened by tomorrow's fears. You are free, completely, utterly free. And in that freedom you can choose. Choose presence, choose peace, choose kindness. Choose to wake up not just physically but spiritually. Because whether you realize it or not, you are being reborn every morning. Your past mistakes no longer own you. Your future anxieties haven't arrived. There is only now, a clean slate, a silent dawn, and it's waiting for you. Most people think transformation happens in grand, dramatic moments. A pilgrimage to a sacred temple, a life-changing revelation, a crisis that forces a new path. But the monks, the old masters, the wise ones, they knew better. They understood that the most profound changes are born in small, invisible moments. Moments like this one, when the world is quiet, when no one is watching, when you decide in the privacy of your own heart to wake up differently, and that is where your journey begins. In a moment, we'll discover how those ancient masters welcomed their mornings, not with alarm clocks and anxiety, but with reverence, with mindfulness, with intention, and maybe, just maybe, we'll learn to do the same. before the sun stretches its golden fingers across the sky, before the world hums to life with footsteps, voices, and scattered worries. There are places where silence is sacred. In the heart of Buddhist monasteries, tucked away in misty mountains or deep within tranquil forests, monks rise in the hour before dawn. But they don't jolt awake to the shriek of an alarm. They don't tumble out of bed chasing emails or caffeine. They wake with intention, with reverence. You see, for them, waking up isn't just a biological process. It's a spiritual ceremony, a small daily rebirth treated with the same care as a sacred ritual. When a monk's eyes open in the darkness, they don't immediately leap into action. They pause, they breathe, and they offer gratitude for the simple, unearned gift of life. Another morning, another chance to walk the path. This is how ancient wisdom meets the dawn. The first thing many monks do is silently recite a short gatha, a mindful verse to anchor the mind. One of the most beloved is this: "Waking up this morning, I smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live fully in each moment, and to look at all beings with eyes of compassion." It's not superstition, it's psychology. An intentional way to steer the mind away from old patterns and into awareness. Because here's the truth most of us forget. The mind is most open, most pliable in those first few minutes after waking. It's a doorway, and whatever you invite in sets the tone for everything that follows. So monks choose their first thoughts carefully. No scrolling, no to-do lists, no rehearsing old grudges, just a breath, a smile, a promise to be here fully for whatever this day brings. After this silent awakening, monks slowly rise. Not rushed, not dragged by the clock, but guided by the natural rhythm of breath and body. They wash their face with cool water, a simple act that becomes a meditation, feeling the sensation, honoring the cleansing, letting it symbolize washing away yesterday's worries, yesterday's attachments. In some monasteries, before the first meal or even a word is spoken, monks perform a practice called walking meditation. Barefoot on the cool earth or stone floors, each step becomes a prayer, a way to connect the body, mind, and earth in quiet unity. No step is wasted, no movement is unconscious, because in the monastery and in truth in life, there are no ordinary moments. You might be wondering, why all this effort for something so simple? Why treat waking up like a sacred ritual? Because the old masters understood what modern neuroscience now confirms. The first 20 minutes after waking are when your subconscious mind is most receptive, most suggestible. It's the bridge between sleep and wakefulness, where habits can be reshaped, awareness sharpened, and your emotional state set like wet clay waiting to be molded. Monks aren't chasing productivity hacks. They're tending to the garden of their mind. And in doing so, they begin each day anchored, calm, and clear-eyed, even in the face of inevitable storms. But here's the secret they'd be the first to share. You don't need to shave your head, wear robes, or retreat to a forest to practice this. The monastery isn't a place, it's a way of being, a way of meeting the world. And it begins the moment you open your eyes. Imagine if tomorrow, instead of lunging for your phone, you placed a hand on your heart, felt its steady beat, thanked it for working through the night. If you whispered a quiet intention, "May I meet this day with courage. May I walk gently in this world. May I offer kindness where I can." Would it change your entire life in one day? Maybe not. But would it change that day? Yes. And one changed day quietly shapes a changed life. The monks know something we've forgotten in our hurried, restless lives. That peace isn't something you chase. It's something you create, moment by moment, breath by breath. And the most powerful moment to create it is the moment you wake. In a little while, we'll explore simple ways you can weave these ancient rituals into your modern mornings without adding stress, without rigid rules. Ways to reclaim your dawn and plant the seeds of stillness in your own heart. But for now, remember this. Every morning you are offered a choice. To wake up by habit or to wake up by intention. To live on autopilot or to live awake. And that choice, simple as it seems, is where wisdom begins. There's a word the ancient monks whispered to themselves, not just in temples but as they walked, ate, and breathed their way through each day. Sati, a Pali word. It means mindfulness. But it's so much more than a buzzword on a meditation app or a phrase painted on a yoga studio wall. Sati is presence. It's remembering to remember, to recall in the midst of life's noise that you are here, now, alive. And that this single breath, the one you're taking right now, is the only moment you are guaranteed. You see, in Buddhist teaching, the mind is often compared to a wild monkey, restless, leaping from thought to thought, grasping at memories, worries, fantasies, regrets. And unless we train it, this monkey mind drags us through life half asleep, always somewhere else, chasing what was or what might be. But the monks, they learned to call their attention home. Not by force, but by kindness. With each breath, they'd silently name what was happening. Walking, I know I am walking. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Smiling, I know I am smiling. A practice so simple, you might dismiss it. But it's in these small, deliberate acts of noticing where a life awakens. Modern psychology now echoes what these ancient seekers knew. That most of our stress, our anxiety, our low-grade unhappiness comes not from what's happening, but from our mind's refusal to be here. We relive old conversations. We rehearse future disasters. We scroll past 100 moments we'll never truly feel. And so, even in the midst of comfort, we remain restless. But Sati teaches us a different way. It says, return. Return to this moment, to the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of your child's laughter, the quiet hum of your breath, the fleeting beauty of a single flower before it wilts, because this, the Buddha taught, is where life actually happens. Not in memories, not in expectations, but in presence. I remember once sitting with an elderly monk in northern Thailand. He had no possessions to his name, no phone, no title, just a faded robe and a heart like a quiet sky. I asked him what the essence of practice was. He smiled, the kind of smile that lives in the eyes, and he said, "The practice is not to escape life. The practice is to be awake for it." I didn't fully understand it then, but over time, in small, ordinary moments, sipping tea, hearing rain against a window, holding the hand of someone I loved, I began to see. It's not about doing more or thinking less. It's about being here, feeling the breath move in and out, letting this moment be enough. And paradoxically, when you do, you don't miss your life. Monks cultivate this by weaving mindfulness into every act. When they eat, they taste each bite. When they walk, they feel the earth. When they speak, they listen to their own words. Nothing rushed, nothing dismissed as unimportant, because in truth, and the Buddha spoke this clearly, there are no small moments. Each instant is a thread in the fabric of your life. And Sati is the art of noticing those threads before they slip through your fingers. And what's beautiful is you can begin too, right now, right here, not next week, not when you finally take a retreat or finish that book. Close your eyes for a breath, feel it, name it. In, I know I am breathing in. Out, I know I am breathing out. Notice the sensation, the coolness at the tip of your nose, the rise of your chest, the subtle pause before the exhale, and in that single act you've returned to yourself, to this day, to life. In the next quiet unfolding of our journey, we'll explore how these mindful moments, tiny, ordinary, unnoticed by the world, hold the power to shape the entire course of a day and even a life. Because the monks would tell you, it isn't grand awakenings that change us. It's the steady, faithful noticing of 1,000 small moments, and it begins the moment you choose to be here, right now. There's a certain magic in the way a morning begins. Not in the noise of alarms or the flood of emails, but in those first fragile moments when the world is still soft and your heart has not yet been pulled in 1,000 directions. This is when the monks offer their first gift to the world, and it isn't a word, it's a silent wish, a gentle wave of loving kindness sent out like ripples on a still pond. In the ancient monasteries of Asia, long before dawn spills its light over the mountains, the monks sit quietly, eyes half closed, palms resting on their laps, and they begin the practice of Metta Bhavana, the cultivation of boundless loving-kindness. Not as a duty, not as a performance, but as a way to align the heart before it meets the world. It starts with a simple thought: may I be well, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering, not in arrogance, not in selfishness, but in recognition that you cannot pour kindness into the world if your own cup is empty. And then, like a candle lighting another, this loving intention is extended outward, to a friend, a stranger, a difficult person, and eventually to all beings in every direction without boundary or exception. May all beings be well. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. It's easy, isn't it, to forget that every person you pass, the barista, the old man at the crosswalk, the neighbor you've never met, carries invisible burdens. Heartaches, longing, aching hopes no one else sees. The monks teach that metta isn't just for meditation halls or mountaintops. It's a way of walking through the world, an invisible cloak of goodwill you wear over your shoulders, a kind of vow whispered into the currents of the day, that whoever crosses your path, even briefly, might leave a little lighter because you crossed theirs. I remember a nun once told me a story. A small boy in her village used to wake every morning and, before doing anything else, would step outside, press his palms together and say, "I wish the trees happiness." He would smile at the sky, wish the wind safety, hope the river would flow clear and the stray dogs would find shade. No one taught him this. It was the natural blooming of a heart that hadn't yet been clouded by the world's noise. And the monks would say that right there is metta. Not grand speeches, not dramatic gestures, but quiet, steady kindness. The kind that lives in small, consistent offerings when you wake tomorrow. Before the phone, before the news, before the lists and obligations, pause. Place your hand over your heart. Feel it, that quiet pulse. The steady, faithful beating of a heart that has carried you through every joy and sorrow you've ever known. And then offer it kindness, not because you've earned it, not because everything is perfect, but because this is what makes us human. And from there, extend it to those you love, to those you struggle with, to those you will never meet. Imagine them waking too, perhaps weary, perhaps hopeful, and silently wish them peace. May you be well. May you find rest for your sorrows. May you know you are not alone. The monks say this practice reshapes the mind. Not in sudden, dramatic ways, but like water smoothing stone, over days, over months, over a lifetime. It teaches you to meet each person, each moment, not as a problem to solve, but as a being worthy of kindness. And when you begin a day this way, with metta in your chest and softness in your gaze, the world subtly changes. Or perhaps you do. As we continue our quiet journey together, we'll explore how the smallest rituals, sipping tea, stepping barefoot on the earth, listening to the sound of rain, can become anchors for awareness. Because, as the monks know, it's not grand philosophies that change a life. It's simple, repeated acts of presence. And it begins the moment you remember to greet the world with kindness. We live in a world that rarely waits, where alarms shout, notifications flash, and the day pulls us into a storm before we've even opened our eyes. But what if, before that first message, before that first task, we claimed a few sacred minutes just for ourselves? Not to escape life, but to return to it awake, clear, and kind. You see, the monks may rise before the sun and sit in the hush of a forest monastery, but their wisdom was never meant to stay behind monastery walls. It was meant for us, for you, in your city apartment, in your suburban house, in your college dorm, wherever life has planted you. And it begins, not with what you do, but how you do it. Morning rituals aren't about complexity. They're about attention, about turning ordinary acts into extraordinary moments of presence. Take waking up. Before reaching for your phone, before scrolling through the world's chaos, pause, feel your breath. Notice the warmth of your bed, the softness of morning light on your skin. Offer a silent thank you, even if things aren't perfect, especially if they aren't. Because gratitude isn't about having everything you want. It's about recognizing what's already here. Next, consider how you enter your day. Monks often begin with water, a simple washing of the face, not just to cleanse the skin but to refresh the spirit. You can do the same. As you feel the water against your face, let it be more than a habit. Let it be a small ceremony, a baptism into a new moment. Feel the coolness. Notice the sensation. And as the water runs down your hands, imagine releasing whatever heaviness you carried from yesterday. Let it go. Then move, not as punishment, not chasing calories or numbers, but as an act of reverence for the body that carries you. Stretch. Breathe deeply. Step outside if you can, feel the earth beneath your feet or the sky above your head. This isn't about achieving something, it's about remembering that you are here, alive, part of a living, breathing world, and perhaps make tea. Or coffee, or warm lemon water, but don't rush it. Feel the steam. Notice the weight of the cup in your hands. Smell the earthiness of the leaves, the sharpness of citrus, the warmth of roasted beans. The monks would tell you mindfulness isn't about meditating on a mountain. It's in how you sip your tea. And in those moments, you remember what it's like to be fully present, to be nowhere else but here. Even a simple act of lighting a candle, writing a single line in a journal, whispering a quiet intention before stepping into the day. These are rituals, not religious, not dramatic, but deeply human. Because the truth is, we are ritual creatures. We seek anchors, things that remind us who we are in the rush of hours and headlines. And the monks, in their simplicity, remind us that we don't need elaborate ceremonies. We just need to remember to breathe, to be kind, to begin again. So what will your ritual be? A hand over your heart before rising, a whispered blessing for someone you love, a minute of silence while your tea steeps. It doesn't have to be long, it only has to be yours, something you claim, a tiny act of defiance against the noise, a promise to yourself that you'll move through this day awake, not perfect, not always calm, but present, and that is enough. As we continue this quiet journey together, we'll explore how the practice of mindful listening to the world around us, to the voices of others, to the unspoken wisdom within, can transform even the busiest, noisiest morning into a sanctuary. Because sometimes, what the world needs most is a little more listening. A single breath taken before your feet touch the floor, a cup of tea savored without a screen in sight, a quiet moment of gratitude while the rest of the world sleeps. And yet, like a pebble dropped into a still pond, those tiny moments send ripples far beyond what the eye can see. We often believe that change requires grand gestures, that to alter our lives, we must overhaul everything, chase new goals, leave old paths. But the monks knew otherwise. They knew that a mindful morning isn't the finish line. It's the first, gentle thread in a tapestry of awareness that stretches across your entire day. Because when you begin with presence, the way you greet the world shifts. That first difficult email, you breathe before replying. You respond, not react. The stranger who cuts you off in traffic. You notice the surge of frustration, and instead of feeding it, you let it pass, like a cloud across the morning sky. The weight of expectations, deadlines, opinions. They don't disappear, but they stop owning you. Why? Because you've already touched something deeper before the day had a chance to pull you away. You see, it's not just the quiet mornings that matter. It's how those mornings become quiet hearts in the middle of noise. The ripple effect is real. A mindful breath at dawn makes you kinder by noon. A moment of loving kindness in the mirror makes you softer with the people you meet. A ritual of gratitude before emails makes your words less sharp, more human. And those ripples reach others. The cashier who catches your warm glance. The coworker who feels heard in a quick conversation. The friend who receives a message you didn't have to send, but did. You become a living meditation. Not a distant, untouchable figure in robes, but an ordinary person carrying a little more awareness than the world expects. And it matters, because the world isn't changed by sermons shouted from mountaintops. It's changed by ordinary people choosing to wake up, to listen, to soften, to breathe. And it begins with you, right here, in the moments no one else sees. A mindful morning is an act of quiet rebellion against the speed, against the numbness, against the lie that we must hurry to matter. You matter now, in this breath, in this pause. And tomorrow, when your alarm sounds, when the world once again invites you into its restless dance, you'll remember that you are not a machine, not a to-do list, but a soul capable of choosing presence over performance. And with every morning you claim as your own, you drop another pebble into the pond, another ripple, another quiet change. And slowly, so slowly you might not even notice your life shifts, not because the world outside changes, but because the world inside does. And in those changes, in those small, sacred ripples, you begin to remember who you've always been beneath the noise, awake, kind, whole. Now, as we bring this journey to a close, let's gather all these quiet, beautiful threads, because the practice of waking mindfully is never just about the morning. It's about how we carry those mornings into the hours that follow. And it's about remembering, even as night falls, that it's never too late to begin again. Let's meet there, in the final chapter, where every ending becomes another beginning. Each day offers a new sunrise, a fresh chance to awaken, not just from sleep but from autopilot, to choose, to step into the morning with intention, to greet the world with open eyes and an open heart. No matter how many mornings have slipped by in haste, today is a new beginning. You've journeyed through silence and presence, walked with ancient wisdom and modern ritual, felt the power of loving kindness, and understood the ripple of mindful moments. Now it's your turn to live it, to transform ordinary mornings into sacred rituals, to carry the calm of dawn into the noise of day, to be awake, aware, and kind, not just once but again and again. Because waking up mindfully is not a destination, it's a practice, a commitment to yourself. So tomorrow, when the alarm sounds, or when the light slips through your window, remember you have the power to choose, to wake up differently. And as you do, you won't just change your morning, you'll change your life. If this journey has touched something inside you, if you're ready to bring more mindfulness into your days, please like, share, and subscribe. Join our growing community of seekers, dreamers, and doers, all choosing to wake up a little more awake every day. Your presence here matters, your story matters, and together we can create ripples that reach far beyond ourselves. Thank you for waking up mindfully with me today. Until next time, may your mornings be peaceful and your days full of light.